The most populated country in Africa is on the brink of a security crisis, with more Christians murdered for their faith in Nigeria than in any other country in the world. Many fear for their lives. Joining us now is Pastor Yunusa Nmadu, and joining us from Nigeria. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you, Maggie, for having me.
So, Pastor, the Nigerian parliament has been urging the president to declare a state of emergency in Nigeria. What's going on there from what you can see?
Well, a lot is going on in Nigeria right now, and which is calling for a state of emergency from a lot of people, from the parliamentarians, from the ordinary people on the street, and so on. The problem are many. We have economic problem, we have political problem, but I think the height of it is the insecurity that has worsened in the last 4 years, steadily so in our country, Nigeria. And this is what is agitating people's mind and asking that we seems to be in the precipice. Therefore, there is the need for the declaration of a state of emergency, especially as it has to do with insecurity in our country.
Security as well, yeah. Tell us about the collateral damage of all of this. Nigeria is the 9th on the world watch list. Christians make up almost 50% of the population, and yet many have been killed. Schools have been shut down, schools have been burnt down, teachers have been killed, even recently in the last month. What is happening to Christians in Nigeria?
Well, what is happening to Christians in Nigeria, it's not new. It's only that there is increase in the perpetration of evil against Christians in Nigeria. Right from time, Christians have always faced persecution in this country. Very systematic and very systemic, but not loud enough for many people to recognize. But now it has gotten to perhaps its heights, and this became worse since 2015 when the Buhari administration came into power. Before then, there had been skirmishes between farmers and herders in the country, local skirmishes. And it has always been one that, was settled locally, was resolved locally. But then in 2015, before 2015, it started getting worrisome because the Fulani herdsmen now began to wield very sophisticated weapons like AKs and, other very dangerous weapons. And they started attacking communities, mostly in the night. At that time, they were called unknown gunmen. It started with Dogonawa in Plateau, Jos, central Nigeria, where about 500 people were killed in one day in a Christian community. And so it went on to other communities, sleeping communities in the rural area will be woken up by sporadic gunshots in the night, and they will destroy their houses, destroy their foodstuff, kill as many as they can. In some cases, drive out the people from their land and occupy the land. So we envisaged, those of us who are keen watchers, envisaged that with the coming of Buhari being a Fulani man himself and, taking into consideration his utterances in the past before he came into power, we just felt that the Fulani people would just be emboldened the more in order to increase their attack. So right now, what we see is not just the night raid in central Nigeria as it used to be, but it is now a Fulani attack all over the country, in the north and in the south, and mostly Christian communities.
Pastor, are you afraid for your life? You're a Christian, you're a pastor of a church. Do you fear for yourself and your congregation?
Maggie, as it stands today, there is no single Nigerian that is not afraid for his life, because there is no certainty that you will end the day safe. It used to be when you travel, then you are not sure if you are going to return. But now, even in our homes, we are being attacked. So they are not just going after farmers as they were pretending to before now, but they've also turned kidnappers now. And all the people that are kidnapped will return. Those who return will tell you that the people who kidnap them are Fulani herdsmen. It's not difficult to know that they are the ones because of the language they speak. They speak the Fulani language. And, so it's not just attacking Christian communities. It is banditry, it is kidnap. So every Nigerian, as I speak to you, is afraid, but more so those of us that are Christians, especially those who are church leaders, on their watch lists and their target lists as we get security reports.
We are hearing reports of, since 2021 to 2020, over 60,000 Nigerians have been killed, Christians, and yet this is not being reported on a global scale. What does the global community need to do about this? I mean, some are saying this is close to being a genocide.
Well, I think that the global community is just waking up to the reality of the genocide in Nigeria, and they are beginning to name it what it should be. It's really a genocide. And before now, the narrative that is sold to the global community, it's a wrong narrative. They tell them that it is a mere clash. No, it is tribal clash or tribal war. And all of those, the people are fighting because of the desertification of the area. No, the people are fighting because they needed a place for the grazing of their animals. But I think it's more clear now to the international community, the global community, that this is an orchestrated and well-planned out attack on Christians for the sole purpose of Islamizing Nigeria as a country. It's a plan that started long ago. They are just being able to actualize it on a large scale.
We're also hearing of accounts of more than 700 students who have been abducted just since December in your country and being held for ransom. And then, of course, Boko Haram, which, we've talked about the Fulani herdsmen, but Boko Haram is still a threat in Nigeria. Of course, remember the Chibok schoolgirls that were abducted. Many of them have not yet returned home. And yet the world seems to have forgotten about these stories, and they continue to happen. People are still being held for ransom and still being abducted. What do you know about these cases, and what is the Nigerian government doing, if anything, to stop this and to bring these young people home?
You see, the pattern that we have seen so far in the last few months is that when the bandits, as the government love to call them, but I call them terrorists, because that's what they when they go into communities that is mostly Muslim to kidnap, to abduct people in their numbers, whether it be school children or people living in the community. The pattern that we have seen so far is that it doesn't take long before they are rescued. But when the kidnapping takes place in a Christian community or in a school where the number of people that are kidnapped are more Christian, government then begins to drag its feet. I tell you the example of Kaduna State, that the children, the students they took from the forestry mechanization school, they are about 70% Christians, and they spent over 60 days in detention. The government they just didn't care, because for them, they said that they will not pay ransom. They are not going to negotiate with the people. Whereas when it happens in other places that are more Muslim populated, government is quick to negotiate, and whether they pay ransom, I don't know, but they are quick to get the people out. Now, these children, school students, spend over 60 days. They were just released yesterday by the efforts of the parents. They took the parents to go to the streets of our country's capital to demonstrate and to protest, the non-release of their students, of their children. Now, the Greenfield University, the bulk of the students that were taken away, again, are Christians. And as I speak to you, they are still being held. In fact, 5 of them have been shot dead already. And the government seems to be adamant. Can you believe that a government of the state will say that even if the parents go to negotiate, they will be arrested and prosecuted because they don't want anyone to negotiate with bandits? So for us, the pattern, it's showing us that there is discrimination, there is marginalization, and it's a purposeful target against the Christian community.
Pastor Yunusa, you believe in Jesus, and you know that believing in Jesus means that your life could be in danger in your country. Why do you continue to believe in Jesus and hold on to your faith?
Well, I come from an Islamic background. And so for me, I have tested both religion, the Christian religion and the Islamic religion. And Jesus Christ said he is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through him. I haven't found any prophet who expressly said that he is the way and assured me that if I put my trust in him, then I'm sure of heaven. So for me, whatever is happening at this side of eternity is temporal. I'm looking forward to something that is more eternal, something that is more permanent, and for me, that is heaven. And here is the person who said he knows the way to heaven. So it would be foolish for me to want to go to come to Canada, for instance, and I get on a plane and the pilot tells me, well, we are going to fly. I'm hoping I'll take you to Canada, but I do not know the way. And then another aircraft is parked where the pilot said, I'm so sure I'll take you to Canada. I'll be foolish not to join the one who knows the way to Canada. So the Lord Jesus Christ knows the way to heaven, where eternity will be spent forever. And so for me, I'm a Christian and I'll remain a Christian because I know the life at this side of eternity is temporal.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. We will be praying for your church and for the people of Nigeria and for peace in that country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maggie.